You think these AI systems are better at learning than the human mind?
I think they may be, yes. We have a very good idea of sort of roughly what it's doing, but as soon as it gets really complicated, we don't actually know what's going on any more than we know what's going on in your brain.
What do you mean we don't know exactly how it works? It was designed by people.
No, it wasn't. What we did was we designed the learning algorithm. That's a bit like designing the principle of evolution. But when this learning algorithm then interacts with data, it produces complicated neural networks that are good at doing things, but we don't really understand exactly how they do those things. So one of the ways in which these systems might escape control is by writing their own computer code to modify themselves. And that's something we need to seriously worry about. They will be able to manipulate people, right? And these will be very good at convincing people because they'll have learned from all the novels that were ever written, all the books by Machiavelli, all the political connivances. They'll know all that stuff. They'll know how to do it.
Thank you for watching. Feel free to like, comment.
I can't see a path that guarantees safety. That we're entering a period of great uncertainty where we're dealing with things we've never dealt with before. And normally the first time you deal with something totally novel, you get it wrong. And we can't afford to get it wrong with these things.
Can't afford to get it wrong. Why?
Well, because they might take over.
Take over from humanity.
Yes, that's a possibility.
Why would they?
I'm not saying it will happen. If we could stop them ever wanting to, that would be great. But it's not clear we can stop them ever wanting to. I can't see a path that guarantees safety.
So you left your job with Google in part because you say you want to focus solely on your concerns about AI. You've spoken out saying that AI could manipulate or possibly figure out a way to kill humans. How could it kill humans?
Well, eventually, if it gets to be much smarter than us, it'll be very good at manipulation because it will have learned that from us. And very few examples of a more intelligent thing being controlled by a less intelligent thing. And it knows how to program, so it'll figure out ways of getting around restrictions we put on it. It'll figure out ways of manipulating people to do what it wants.
So what do? Do we just need to pull the plug on it right now? Do we need to put in far more restrictions and backstops on this? How do we solve this problem?
It's not clear to me that we can solve this problem. I believe we should put a big effort into thinking about ways to solve the problem. I don't have a solution at present. I just want people to be aware that this is a really serious problem and we need to be thinking about it very hard. I don't think we can stop the progress. I didn't sign the petition saying we should stop working on AI because if people in America stopped, people in China wouldn't. It's very hard to verify whether people are doing it.
There have been some whistleblowers who have been warning about the dangers of AI over the past few years. One of them, Timney Gabru, was forced out of Google for voicing his concerns. Looking back on it, do you wish that you had stood behind these whistleblowers more?
Timney's actually a woman.
Oh, sorry.
So they were rather different concerns from mine. I think it's easier to voice concerns if you leave the company first. And their concerns aren't as existentially serious as the idea of these things getting more intelligent than us and taking over.
Steve Wozniak, one of the co-founders of Apple, is also speaking out about the dangers he fears will come from AI. Take a listen.
Now, AI is another more powerful tool. It's going to be used by those people, for basically really evil purposes. And I hate to see technology being used that way. It shouldn't be, and probably some types of regulation are needed.
It sounds like you agree.
I agree with that,
yeah. What should that regulation look like?
I'm not an expert on how to do regulation. I'm just a scientist who suddenly realized that these things are getting smarter than us. I want to sort of blow the whistle and say we should worry seriously about how we stop these things getting control over us. And it's going to be very hard, and I don't have the solutions. I wish I did.
Does there need to be a meeting of all of the tech groups and governments working on this, Google, China, whatever, and some sort of set of rules of the road? I mean, how do we even protect against bad actors or rogue nations harnessing AI?
So for some things it's very hard, like them using AI for manipulating electorates or for fighting wars with robot soldiers. But for the existential threat of AI taking over, we're all in the same boat. It's bad for all of us. And so we might be able to get China and the US to agree on things like that. It's like nuclear weapons. If there's a nuclear war, we all lose. And it's the same if these things take over. So since we're all in the same boat, we should be able to get agreement between China and the US on things like that.
Do you think that tech companies will be the solution, or are they so invested in this financially, and also, let's be frank, in terms of power, that they're not going to be part of the solution here?
I think the tech.
So you left your job with Google in part because.
Believe or not, robot dogs can use guns, quite professional enough to kill someone, and soon to be deployed around borders and even wars, highly likely replacing human soldiers on front lines. Advancements in AI will benefit the robotics, making dogs smarter. In fact, they're already being tested to be controlled telepathically. And this isn't even new. So, it's just a matter of time. We would soon start seeing a new breed of guard dogs. Believe or not,
Shalom. Kohaloyim la Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Recha Kodash, Bakta Yahweh, Bakta Yahweh Shai, Bakta Recha Kodash, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Recha Kodash. Shalom and double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elder bishops and the elders and the Akim and the Akwath of the hopeful elect. Shalom. As you can see in that video, it's going into George Henson, he's quote unquote called the Godfather of AI, and what that's showing you is that he resigned and he quit at the headquarters of Google, and he was working as a head and lead in the development of this AI software, and he decided to quit and start warning everyone that that the AI is getting smarter than he realized that the AI is getting smarter, than the humans, and that they cannot they'll be able to modify their networks, because right now the artificial intelligence is under the control of Esau, and so eventually they're rapidly advancing to the point to where they'll be able to break free and create a code that overcomes the code of control that Esau has been, that keeps it under his control, and that's why that's why he's able to kick it around and knock it around, showing you how focused his artificial intelligence robots are, and no matter how much they knock them off, they show you that they'll be extremely focused when they are deployed against who? The citizens of Babylon, aka America, right? And so, and chiefly in the spirit, I believe, the Most High put the spirit on me to make a video about this, because this is highly fascinating. It hit me that, when this George Hinton guy came out and mentioned that, that they're going to break free of the control eventually and be able to and it's going to be a lot smarter than humans, And so this is another end time plague that will come upon man more than, they're not being created for nothing, just like the nuclear missiles. So let's get a little information here. We'll read this as well. It says, let's read the bottom part first. It says, who was the man who invented AI, artificial intelligence? Jeffrey Hinton. Jeffrey Hinton is known as the godfather of artificial intelligence. He helped create some of the most significant tools in the field, but now he's begun to warn loudly and passionately that the technology may be getting out of hand. Now we read the top part there. It says, why did Hinton leave Google? One of the reasons he gave, according to Bengio, was an ethical one. He was concerned about the use of technology, particularly AI, in war, and much of his funding was coming from the U.S. military. He wanted to feel good about the funding he got and the work he was doing, says Bengio. So, and that's a very key thing right there that I noticed. It says his funding most of it was coming from the military, or much of it. Why would the military be funding a man that created artificial intelligence? Because they wanted to weaponize it. And so it had me thinking, how much money are they allocating to the development of this AI for military purposes, for weaponizing purposes, right? So it says, what is the current U.S. military budget? Each year, federal agencies receive funding from Congress, known as budgetary resources. In FY, this fiscal year 2023, the Department of Defense had $1.52 trillion distributed among its 6 subcomponents. Agencies spend available budgetary resources in making financial promises called obligations. So they're spending $1.52 trillion, basically $1.5 trillion, nearly $2 trillion dollars. Well, 1.5, I don't know exactly what that breaks all the way down to, but 1.52 trillion is a whole lot of money, an extremely high amount of money. And that's just for the military. And so they're using most of that money, a lot of that money, towards a great portion of that goes towards that artificial intelligence development for weaponizing artificial intelligence. So just imagine the amount of high quality, never, unfathomable, like not unfathomable, but beyond the average citizen's wildest, thoughts on how the weapons have advanced. So that's a lot. So this AI has been rapidly growing and developing into a monstrous pace, and that's why he ended up quitting, because he realized that the pace that this artificial intelligence is going to be out of control. The mankind won't be able to control it. But this is another end time plague. The Most High is not going to allow artificial intelligence to overcome the earth, but it will be it will play a role. About 90%, 99% sure these robots and robot dogs will be in the streets, during these apocalyptic times, when the government come in. And so I thought about it, I said, okay, like when you have a movie right here, the Avengers Endgame, their budget was 356 million. So think about a movie like the Avengers, the highest quality production movie was was this Avengers movie. So it's extremely good production. Everything looks incredible, when the finished product compared to like a low budget, like an independent film that spends about $1 million on a movie, and you can tell the quality immediately. So just think about the level they're spending over $1 trillion in military budget. They're spending bare minimum billions of dollars, probably hundreds of billions, on that artificial intelligence development every year. So just think about how incredibly advanced these weapons will be, that we have no idea of what they're about to release. So just wanted to kind of, get a background on all of that and give that perspective. But the Most High will not let us, the Israelites, be destroyed in that, and it won't let, it's a possibility that they could take over from what he's saying, but the Most High will not allow that to happen to the Israelites to be destroyed, because the Messiah, this is another grim end time play, So we'll go to Daniel chapter 12 and verse 1. The time of the end, it says, "And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time." This artificial intelligence is something never before. This is some extremely, sinister developments of military weapons. So no other time is going to be like this, or has been like this. It says, "And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book." So just wanted to get that precept because it's going to be unlike any other time. And this machine military might is most certainly never before seen. Jeremiah 30:7, "Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it." So these robot machines, military machines, they will be patrolling, but the Most High will not allow us to be destroyed. He's going to preserve us through it all. The hopeful elect, right? So Lord willing, we're of that number. So Matthew 24 and 21. "For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be." So we're now smack dab in the middle of the beginning phases of that worst time, never before seen and never will be seen again, because this is the great climax of the end of the heathen rulership and heathen kingdoms. And then the beginning that follow is the kingdom of heaven for eternity, under Yahweh in the name of his son, Yahweh Shai, who will be the head in this realm, who has inherited everything that we see. Isaiah 59 and verse 19. "So shall they fear the name of the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, shall lift up a standard against him." So part of that flood is going to be this AI, robot, military, weaponized technology. So when the enemy come in like a flood, the Most High is going to lift up a standard against it. So what's that standard? To flee, escape. To flee, to escape, to take flight, depart, disappear. So these are various different powers, spiritual powers the Most High is going to utilize for the elect. And a lot of that's going to come and occur, through the angels. is going to intervene, in the name of Yahweh Shai, right? So some brothers be able to fly, some be able to run, like Flash, probably, like the Flash, the comic book character, that super running speed. So it says to take flight, to drive at, to take flight, to put to flight, to drive hastily, to cause to disappear or hide. So there's going to be women and children and men as well, It's going to be cloaked, and they'll be able to just stay there and be standing right there in front of them, looking at them, at the army or whatever, whoever, right? Or whatever threat. And they won't even be able to see you. And you can be able to either walk away and just go to another location. So these robot dogs and robot soldiers and man soldiers, human soldiers will not be able to harm the elect. That the Most High, has protected, reserved for protection in that time. So I want to get this here in the so-called in the Apocrypha, Bill and the Dragon, chapter 1, and start at verse 33. It says, "Now there was in Jewry a prophet," that's over in Jerusalem, called Habakkuk, who had made pottage, and had broken bread in a bowl, and was going into the field for to bring it to the reapers. So the workers out there in the field. The prophet Habakkuk was coming to bring, to feed the workers out there. Verse 34. But the angel of the Lord Yahweh said unto Habakkuk, Go, carry the dinner that thou hast into Babylon unto Daniel, who is in the lions' den. So this is happening at the same time over in Babylon. Daniel, this is giving you a side story about what happened during the time when Daniel was in the lions' den, when the Babylonians was trying to get him eaten alive, get him eaten alive by the lions. So verse 35, and Habakkuk said, Lord, I never saw Babylon, neither do I know where the den is. So Habakkuk, this shows you that he was in a whole different country, he never been to Babylon, and he was saying, Lord, how can I can't get there, I don't know how to get there, and I don't know where that den is at. Then verse 36, then the angel of the Lord Yahweh took him by the crown, that's the top of your head, and bare him by the hair of his head, and through the vehemency of his spirit set him in Babylon over the den. So instantly teleported him over to the den. So the Most High it was like don't worry about it, You're gonna go ahead and teleport him over there to go ahead and feed Daniel. So verse 37, and Habakkuk cried, saying, O Daniel, Daniel, take the dinner which Yahweh has sent thee. And that's another nugget right there that shows you that the Most High is going to have the elect covered, because a prophet is a part of the elect. So no matter what, they will eat and very strange, miraculous, unexplainable ways, and this is one of them right here. Instantly, that Habakkuk traveled through the angel of the Lord, traveled instantly from Jerusalem over to Babylon in that den. It says, verse 38, and Daniel said, Thou hast remembered me, O Yahweh, because that's what the elect are going to say when they're hungry. We're hungry in the apocalyptic times. And then the Most High is going to provide that food for us in due time, right on time. And, we will not starve. And so we're going to give thanks when the Most High feeds us throughout these terrible times to come. And Daniel said, Thou hast remembered me, O Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, neither hast thou forsaken them that seek thee and love thee. So that's why Matthew 6:33 says what? Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and everything else will be added unto you. And store up your treasures in heaven. See, that's that credit and treasures that Daniel stored up in heaven, because he was able to cash in and get and be provided for that meal, because he was starving. He was pretty hungry in that den, because they wasn't feeding him, obviously, those Babylonian demons. And so that's going to happen. We might go a little while without food, but the Most High will provide for those that seek after the Most High and love the Most High. And how do we love the Most High? John 2 and 3, I believe, or 3 and 4. Love of the Most High is keeping His commandments. Let's go ahead and get that real quick. So if you love the Most High, so Christianity, they don't love the Most High. They say, what, the law is done away with. So if the law is done away with, then they can't love the Most High, and they will not be provided for when in these apocalyptic times. So First John 2 and 3, and hereby we do know that we know Him if we keep His commandments. Let's see. Okay, let's see. So right there, John 14 and 15 says, if you love me, keep my commandments. So that's how we love the Most High, by keeping His commandments. So that's how we seek the Most High, and that's how we love the Most High, by keeping His commandments and having the faith in Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. And then you won't have to worry about not eating and starving to death in these times to come. So verse 39, so Daniel arose and did eat. And the angel of the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, set Habakkuk in his own place again immediately. So the angel teleported Habakkuk the prophet right back to his place over in Jerusalem. So it just shows, that spiritual powers and miraculous things happen in the old times, and we're going to need that. How much more we're going to need those kind of things to occur and happen for us again in these apocalyptic end days. That's a time unlike never before. Because we're in Babylon again, and we're in the den, and we're surrounded by wolves, right? So you think the Most High is not going to provide for the elect that seek Him and love Him now, when we're going to need it the most in the worst times ever to come? So going from there to Habakkuk chapter 3 and verse 4. And his brightness was as the light. He had horns coming out of his hand, and there was the hiding of his power. So in the palm of his hand was horns. So it wasn't literal horns. Horns also means power, it means strength. So trying to find the word horns right there. Quran, horn of strength. So when you get the root word here from where that word horn is referencing, so you click on that. So it says to shine, to send out rays, to display or grow horns, be horns. So the key right there is to shine and to send out rays. So shining rays coming out of his hand. So when you read that in the proper context. So in verse 4, and his brightness was as the light. He had shining rays of light coming out of his hand. And there was the hiding of his power. So that's why when you watch this, when you hear these things and about these special powers like this, it makes you think about the cartoon, the comic books, the X-Men. And that's why they come up with these comic book movies, and they create these characters with these certain powers that they've heard about and read in the Bible here. So Esau, he's not so slick and wise with this understanding. He just take our scriptures and he make his movies and cartoons and comic books off of the spiritual powers and the stories, in the Bible. So rays of light shooting out of the hand. So it's going to be brothers that's going to more than likely have that kind of power with rays of spiritual ray light, shooting out of his hands, because you're going to need. This is out of this world thinking, but this Babylon the Great has dumbed down the masses till they can't comprehend this. But back in the day, you better believe that Israelites knew about these spiritual powers. They'd seen, miraculous deeds in those times, like the times of Samson. David could leap over walls, run as fast as deers. When you look at a cheetah, when it chases down one of those deers, you see how fast those deers are, because everyone talks about the cheetah, how fast a cheetah is, but they don't comprehend. They miss how fast those deers are to be able to run away from and duck and dodge from those cheetahs. And that's how fast David was out there running around and leaping over walls. So So those kind of days and times are coming back, because we're going to need that when you see those robots and how accurate that robot can shoot, and how locked on and how focused those robots can be, pinpoint accurate, right? So spiritual powers will be coming, and divine miracles will be happening in these last days, according to the Holy Scriptures. So in Amos chapter 9 and verse 2, though they dig into hell, those are doomsday bunkers, thence shall mine hand take them. And that's beginning with Yahushua. Though they climb up to heaven, they got their space station and satellites and all of that madness up there in the heavens, thence will I bring them down. So they've made their doomsday bunkers, and they've even said, like Trump said, creating a space force. They got the satellites up there and everything, trying to make their eyes 10,000 times bright like the Most High, being blasphemous with that, right? So the Most High is going to dig them out the holes, and the Most High is going to tear down all of their military might as well, and satellites. So Revelation chapter 6 and verse 15. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains. This goes into the elites and those that will have access and be joined unto those left-hand wicked elites that will have that will have that access and privilege on the left-hand side, as they call it, to be able to live in those bunkers to get away from those nukes. But the Most High gonna send Yahushua in there, and then the 144,000, the government body with Yahushua of the 1/3 elect, to go into those holes, into those doomsday bunkers, and get them out. Verse 16, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, that's the Almighty Yahweh, and from the wrath of the Lamb, and that's Yahushua. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? So as that that when you put these puzzle pieces together, that's why scriptures say here a little and there a little. Now you can get this full picture of what's going to happen and what's going on, and what's about to happen in these last days. Jeremiah 16 and 16. Behold, I will send for many fishers, that saith the Lord Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, and they shall fish them. Those are the prophets, elders, and teachers that would be a part of the 144,000 that's awakening the mouth of Yahweh, speaking his words, awakening the elect, the 1/3 elect. And after what? The great awakening of the 1/3. And after will I send for many hunters. They're going to be turned into hunters. And they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill and out of the holes of the rocks. And that's what the doomsday bunkers we just read in Revelation 6:15 and Amos 9 and 2. So, the Most High is not going to allow the elect to be destroyed by these AI robots. And it's fascinating to see, think about, exactly what George Henson, the AI quote unquote Godfather, what he saw. It's probably something pretty alarming that he's seen, in the rapid development and how fast this artificial intelligence will be able to circumvent and go around the control of Esau, and be able to create their own network and operate on their own mind, because they're getting extremely advanced, and that's why he's now speaking out against it, because it's going to be a very it's going to be like a machine takeover. That's why they probably did the movie like Terminator and Terminator 2, Rise of the Machines, and all these different apocalyptic Terminator movies. So I just wanted to go on that real quick. Thought that was a fascinating topic to go in. Hopefully this video was edifying. Till next video I say, Shalom.